What's up guys, here with another video, and in this video I'll be talking about like what does it take to sub a 5-minute mile, right? So I know that a lot of runner or people that really want to sub 5-minute mile, but I can tell you that it is not very easy, and you're gonna have to be very disciplined. You have to train really well, and you have to keep your body really healthy. You need like very low resting heart rate and high VO2 max. But if you're like a female, or if you're like older, or if you're younger, then subbing 5-minute mile can be it's gonna be very impossible or very difficult to do. So I think a lot more males runner can sub 5, but not very many people can do it, and it's just so hard to do, right? Yeah, so this is why I don't make a lot of videos, and this is why I've been disappearing on YouTube a lot lately, because I just try to sub a 5-minute mile and it's just not working, man. Like, this is a hard thing to do, and if you cannot sub 5-minute mile for some reason, you just need to get a coach. I mean, you just sacrifice a lot, and sometimes you may never do it. I think no matter what generation you're in, not many people can do it, right? Yeah, not very many people. And if you sub a 5-minute mile, I mean, you're gonna win lots of first place. I can tell you that much. Or either you'll be very close. You'll be like probably within the top 10. If you're in the 5K or 10K race, you'd be top 10 guaranteed. So anyway, what is the sub 5-minute mile? So I explained that definition. It's a 300-second mile. You're gonna have to run 4 laps around the track in less than 75 seconds, or you have to hold 12 miles per hour in 5 minutes. And holding at 12 miles per hour is very difficult. You're gonna get tired like very quickly. A lot of people just cannot hold like maybe 30 seconds, right? Top on average person. It's like very close to your sprinting speed, and like I said, man. So to order sub a 5-minute mile, you need really good endurance and speed. If you don't have those two, then you're never gonna sub 5. Like for me, I think in the past I have very lack of endurance, but now I have very lack of speed and strength. You need a lot of strength to sub a 5-minute mile. I don't have very good speed, so this is why I keep getting over the 5-minute mile mark, maybe like 5:20 or 5:30. So yeah, every 10 second under 5 minute, the 6-minute mile mark is gonna be very difficult. It's a big difference to me. But for short distance runner, or for beginner, 10 seconds improvement may not be a lot, but for experienced runner, it may be a lot. So yeah, if you're a beginner runner, then I guess the required time is gonna be slower for you. It's gonna be slow for you, but for an experienced runner, sub 5 is gonna be gonna take a lot out of you. You're gonna have to run really quick. Let's just say that for some weird reason you never run a mile, and you plan to sub a 5-minute mile. You run like, let's say 800 meter, 400 meters, or other distance, cross country distance, you run like 2 or 5K. So let's just put that as an equivalent, and if you meet those time where a lot of people who sub 5-minute mile, so I'll give you. So I just found this on the website. It's very interesting, and it tells you like how fast for people who just went under the 5-minute mark. Okay, let me explain. Yeah, sometimes difficult me explaining because of my disability, because I have to say it's because a lot of people are going to be new to my channel, and I'm going to try to help them sub a 5-minute mile, but I'm not a real coach here. But I'll tell you the time for certain distances that will probably get you ready to get that 4:59 on the dot. That's all you want, 4:59, not 5, not 5:01, not 5:02. So yeah, if you run like other long distances, then let's just equate that to to a sub 5-minute mile. So there's a Jack run formulas. There's Craig running calculator. All that run calculator, trends is like what happened if you sub a 5-minute mile, like how fast will you run for a certain distance. I feel like those calculators are inaccurate. It's because we're all not marathon runners, so I look at the majority of people who sub 5-minute mile, how fast they run for like 2 miles, 800 meters, or 5K, or etc. Right? If your time is just as fast as them or even faster, then you're probably in the good shape of sub 5. But there's a lot of different circumstances. Some people are bad at cross country, and some people are better when short distance. Everybody's different. I mean, if you're really good at long distance like ultra marathon stuff, then the required time for you to sub 5-minute mile is gonna be a lot harder, and you're gonna need a lot more speed if you're a long distance runner. If you're a short distance runner, then you probably need better endurance, or either you gotta have to be super fast. You have to make sure that you can hold the 12 miles per hour comfortably for 5 minutes. I know 5 minutes not that long, but you're gonna run out of oxygen really quickly, so this is why you go bonk very fast. And also there's also some race that's where it's close to a mile, like 1500 meters. Yes, 1500 meters. So I'll be explaining everything in this video, what time you need, and also and ask for the beginners too. So I am not a beginner. I've been running for like at least 4 or 5 years now. So yeah, I'm not gonna improve that much. But yeah. I know that sometimes there's not a lot of race where you can run a mile. There's not lots of 1 mile race. I think a lot of common races are like 5K or above, or 2 miles, or whatever distance that is. But in high school 1600 meter is I think a lot of people get confused that 1600 meter is not a mile. A mile is 1609 meters, right? 9 meters above the 1600 meter track. So anyway, I actually run a sub 5-minute miles 2 years ago, and I might be able to do this. I might not be able to do it this year. So it's just that difficult. And prospectively, I can tell you like how fast you need to run your sub 5. Because not only I looked through internet, I also sub 5 too, as before. I still remember what time I got was my PR for 2 miles and for 3 miles, but there's this website, I can tell you like how fast you need to run your certain distance, like say up to like 5 miles or the 10K. I think running 10 miles, as your PR is irrelevant, because it's totally different. You're running like marathon stuff. Running a mile is totally different, so you cannot compare it like that. It's just hard, prospectively. You don't need to run 10 miles, to necessarily break a 5-minute mile. That's not necessary. I say, 5 miles or up to like maybe 10K, which is almost 6.5 miles. So okay, so let's see. So I explained, based on the website, what time do you need to run a 4:59, and also I'll tell you the time that I got, in 2020, and not, this year or last year. That qualified me to get the 4:59 or faster, because my PR was like 4:55 or faster. So for people who just sub 5-minute mile, they're probably gonna run a mile in just under 4:50, around like 4:59 to just about 4:53, 4:54, and 4:55. Between 4:59 to 4:53. Let's just put it that way. So yeah, so about 6 to 7 minutes just under the mark. So according to this website, it makes a lot more realistic sense because, you know, because you had to be really elite to hold that fast pace. So I think that makes a lot more valid sense because I've seen a lot of, you know, people who run around like 4:55 to 4:59 minute mile. They get, you know, their, you know, 2 miles, I say around like 10ish or 11, you know, minute mile, 10 to 11 minute, not flat 10, but 10, you know, around 10:45, you know, to 11 minute. So you also need to run really fast for the 100 meters. I'm like, why does a 100 meter, you know, has to do anything with running a mile? It's 16 times. I get it, man. You need speed. If your top speed is less than, you know, 20 miles per hour, if your top, then you're not going to be successful at stopping 5-minute mile. I can tell you that much. So I'm not be so in today's, you know, time in 2022, you know, of May, I cannot sub a 5-minute mile right now, and somehow my top speed was about 20 miles per hour. So yeah, so let's just talk about, you know, the you know, 100 meter, right? I mean, if you run, you know, 100 meter, and if you run 800 meters like really good and stuff, if you have very good 100 meter to up to 800 meter, you know, at a really quick pace, then you might be able to push yourself, you know, to that the time that you want to get your best PR for a mile. I know that 800 meters is very tricky, and a lot of people think that, oh, like if they do so well in 800 meters, they can do well in mile. No, like even adding like a few 100 meters can already drastically slow you down because your body isn't used to it. So don't think just because your 800 meters like, you know, like 210 or 209 doesn't mean guarantee sub 5. That's not the case. So okay, so I think it's 12-minute video. I bet, you know, go really quick. I cannot have long videos. So according to this website, you know, to order to get, you know, a sub 5-minute mile, you have to run 100 meters in 12 seconds. Yeah, that is very quick. 12 seconds. I don't think I can do that. There's no way. A 12-second 100 meters, like, how fast is that? Okay, that's about like almost 19 miles per hour, you know, on a 100-meter track. Yeah, that's real speed. And if you don't have endurance, then this won't matter to you. But if you have good endurance, then you will probably be successful of subbing a 5-minute mile. So your 100-meter time will be 12 seconds. Your 200-meter time has to be under 25 seconds, guaranteed 24.6. And you definitely need to run 400 meters in under 1 minute, or, you know, 1 lap around track. So I have a lot of friends that sub a 1 minute, you know, 400 meters, you know, which is 15 miles per hour on track, or a sub, you know, like 4-minute mile. You have to run a sub 4-minute mile or sprint, you know, the entire 1 lap around track in definitely under a minute. I say that most sub 5-minute mile, they run between like 59 to 54 seconds, you know, for like the 1 lap or 400 meters. So 400 meters in 56 seconds. Your half mile or 800 meter time has to be 2 minutes and 11 second point 2. And yeah, by having a 56 or 55 second 400 meter, and by having around like 2:14 to 2:11, you know, for the 800 meters, you can probably run a mile in 4:57. You know, and you have to run 2 miles in 10 minutes and 45 seconds for your 2-mile run, and your 5K run has to be, you know, 17:19 or quicker. If you can run a 17:19, you know, minutes for 5K or faster, then you're probably ready to sub 5. And yeah, I say 5K is very common race, but uncommon race is like 5 miles, right? I know that you have to run a lots of, you know, miles to build aerobic endurance, but for a very experienced runner, or for a runner that, you know, can run like lots of 10K or 5K, I mean 5 miles, your 5 miles has to be, you know, in 28:50. So That's under a 550 mile pace, you know, for 5 miles. So by getting, so yeah, I look around, like a sub 5 minute mile would be able to run, you know, 5 miles in 28 minutes and 50 seconds, and I have not reached there yet. I've been trying to reach there, but I haven't. I haven't even run sub, you know, 29, you know, minutes, you know, 5 mile run. 2050.5 5 mile run. And for the 10K, you would, a sub 5 minute mile, you know, would equate to like 36 minutes and 25 seconds. Now, based on Craig running, you know, calculator, I think the time seems a lot more slower than you thought, you know, to sub 5 minute mile, right? I guess this is the minimum. I guess this, you know, website doesn't make any sense to me, because when I run those, you know, type of distance, I run a lot faster, you know, just to break a 5 minute mile. You know, back in 2020, ever since I gained a little bit more endurance, so this is probably irrelevant. But yeah, for the beginner runner, this is probably your minimum requirement just to break a 5 minute mile. So yeah, so according, you know, to Craig's running, you know, calculator, you have to run 100 meters in, you know, 13 seconds. 200 meters under 26 seconds. 100 meter 13 seconds. 200 meter 26 seconds. 400 meters, like I said, you know, 57.8 seconds, and your 800 meter time is 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and your 1500 meter would, you know, be like 438 to like 430. Well, 438 to be very minimum, and your 2 miles has to be like around 10:44, and 5K 17:13, and the 10K time, you know, would just be at 36 minutes. Well, it's 36:01 to be, you know, to be accurate, right? Yeah, so it tells me, like, you know, like how fast would you run if you run by some 5 minute mile. I'll tell you how fast you run for half marathon. That's, you know, irrelevant. Like I said, man, like running over, you know, 10K is not necessary. I have to repeat this again. So does my time, you know, equate, you know, to the one that was calculated on the internet? Is it faster or is it a little bit slower? So prospectively, you know, I will tell you, you know, how fast I run for 2 miles. So for my 2 mile run, I run around like 10, you know, 44, right? Which is exactly what the internet said. And my best 5K run was 17 like 20, was right under 17:30, right? And I run 5 miles in just under 30 minutes, which is a sub 6 minute mile, you know, for 5 miles. So for the beginner runners, you know, the time will be, you know, a lot slower, right? So yeah, so here is all the answer, and here's all the information you need to know to sub a 5 minute mile. So yeah, so I try to you know, estimate, you know, like what's the minimum requirement for beginner runners, you know, to sub a 5 minute mile, right? So I try to remember, you know, correctly. So yeah, those are the time, you know, you need, you know, to sub 5 minute mile, you know, if you're an experienced runner, right? So yeah, so a 13 second, you know, 100 meter is just about 17 miles, averaging a 17 miles per hour, right? But that means your top speed is going to be like about 20 miles per hour. So yeah, man. I mean, for the beginner runner, you mean if you try to sub 5 minute mile, you have to run, let's say 400 meters in about, you know, in about 1 minute, right? it can go a little bit over 1 minute, on your bad days, right? For your 800 meter or half mile, you have to get at least 220. Even though, I don't have it on my phone. Everything on my phone because I can't memorize everything. And, for the 2 mile run, you have to run at least, 1 minute slower than, comparing, other, sub 5 minute mile, for a 2 mile run. You have to run, 2 miles in at least under 11 40, and your 5K run have to be at least 19 minutes. So yeah, the other time where I ran like 19 minutes for 5K, I do have a chance if I was a beginner runner. But for experienced runner, a 19-minute 5K is not gonna do it, man. Or you have to run like an 18-minute 5K or faster. Sometimes a sub 5 minute miler just happen to run 18 minutes, but for the most part, for maximum performance, it's 17 minutes or faster. Or you're gonna have to run 10K in under you definitely have to run 10K in under 40 minutes, no matter what, to order sub a 5-minute mile. So yeah, this is how difficult subbing a 5-minute mile is, right? Yeah, so like I said, so let me explain for the long distance runner. If you cannot run 100 meters in about 13 seconds, or under, then you're gonna have to work on your speed. And for people who are short distance runner, or people who are best in the mile, you better run 2 miles in at least 11:30 to 11:40 at least, or get your 5K time in definitely under 19 minutes, right? Or start doing a lot more tempo workout or session workout, right? Or do like the 400 meter repeat at a 1:14 1 minutes and 14 minutes around 400 meter track, or quicker than that. Or somehow run short distance faster than your goal pace, or do 200 meter repeats. That's all I have to say in this video. So yeah, so another thing what I suggest you to do is that if you don't know how fast you currently run a mile, just do like a mile trial and all that stuff, and just see where your fitness is, and let's see like how far are you away from your sub 5-minute mile pace, or your goal to break your PR in a mile, right? And just train slowly, man. I know that it's sad for a lot of people. I know a lot of people, a lot of good runner, they dream to sub a 5-minute mile, but I have to be realistic, man. It like so many people can't do it. Like no matter like how hard they train or how much money they have, it is just like extremely difficult, right? I know that it may take a lifetime or even many years if you want to conquer that type of performance, right? But for me, like it's been 2 years already, and I still get slower due to my aging and stuff. I know I'm young, I have a lot of energy, but I don't know if like I'm not the coach. Even if you're a good running coach stuff, or even if they tell you to push hard stuff, even if you get really good coach, subbing 5-minute mile is not guaranteed, man. You have a little bit genetic, and you have to put in the work. But hey, sometimes you gotta prove me wrong. Like you just have to keep pushing yourself, and you might get there, right? But you have to remember, you know, that 12 miles per hour is not, it's very fast. You know, it's really, really fast. And some people may not even have a top speed to get to 12 miles per hour. There are still a lot of people out there. I mean, an average person, you know, can probably sprint, you know, or have a top speed around 16 to 15 miles per hour. Yeah, like you just need two good things, right? So I'll have to end off this video here, and if you have any question or if you want to say something, just comment below if this makes sense to you, right? Or if you have a friend that happens, you know, to run around these, you know, equivalent pace that I just said in this video, comment below, you know. Well, I know that sometimes your friend run faster than the required pace, and sometimes they didn't sub 5 minute mile. You know, even though they tried so many times. So I already warned you, you know, in this video, beginning the video, it's either because of your body, or either because you use a certain pace, or either you're short or long distance runner. So yeah, peace out.